Hello and welcome to freelywhole Creative. I'm Liberty, your creativity coach from freelywhole.com, where we're making beauty from ashes through creative soul care. Today's project is a 6-pocket wraparound envelope as an insert for your journals. These envelopes are so cute and so easy to make, and when you put them in your journal and wrap them around a journal page, they create 6 pockets. So join me on the journey today and let's create. The supplies that you'll need for making this 6-pocket wraparound envelope are super simple. But I originally saw this from Melina Pylant on YouTube, and she used a number 6 business envelope, which is just the smaller check size envelope. Now, I didn't have any of these with the nice little triangle pocket, so I decided if I wanted to make one, I needed to get creative, and I knew I had an envelope punch board that I love, and plenty of patterned paper. And so I figured I could figure this out and do my own little twist to it. Now, the supplies that you'll need are super simple. You need 1 sheet of 12 by 12 patterned paper, and you want a regular paper weight, not a heavy cardstock. If you have 2-sided of that weight, that is super and great, but if not, 1-sided is fine. If you don't have patterned paper, perhaps you have some digital that you could print out. The thing about them is you want to make sure though that you've got 8 1/4 inches across here once you cut off your borders. Otherwise, you want to print borderless or fit to page or something so that you're sure that you've got that full width. The other thing that you want to be sure about is that you have a design that is not just centered, just in the middle of the design and real huge there, or that is definitely directional. The part that you're going to see the most of is not going to be the middle of the paper. First of all, remember we're going to be cutting this to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So what you're going to see is mainly what's going to be in those 4 corners. And the primary one that you're going to see is going to be what would be the top flap of the envelope, but it's going to be pointed the other way. So make sure that one of your corners has a nice design on it that is okay for the top to be the point and to be cut off here. So let's see, and did I mention that if you're doing a digital, you can print something on the back of that, and that will save you 1 step. But if you just have single-sided, no big deal. We can figure that out very easily. The other thing you're going to need is, of course, your envelope punch board. You're going to need some glue, and you're going to need your paper trimmer or scissors and ruler. Now, since I'm working with 12-inch paper and I need a 8 1/4 inch square, so even if I was working with the 8 1/2 by 11, I wouldn't be able to measure that on my regular 6-inch cutter. So I need my big trimmer to cut these. If you want, you can have distress ink and a blending tool to define your edges. I like to ink my edges on my projects, but you certainly don't have to. And then any things that you're wanting to put into your pockets or to decorate your envelope with. And that is totally up to you what you want to use for those things, and we won't get into that in the video today. I just want to show you how to make the envelope itself. So grab your supplies and let's see where today's journey takes us. Okay, the first thing we need to do is cut an 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 inch square. Now how I got that is because that number 6 envelope is very close to the 3 1/2 by 6 1/2 inch size that's listed here. So we're going to cut a square and we're going to make sure that we've got one of our pretty corners that we want to show in that square. So let's go 8 1/4 this direction. And then decide which of these corners we want. And I think I'm going to use that one. So let's go 8 1/4 this direction. Hopefully I'm in focus or in the frame there. I'm going to put these aside for now. And then we're going to bring our punch board in and start doing our work. Okay, the corner that you're going to want to be your outside pocket, that's going to be the main part that shows on your envelope, you want to put that corner up in the top right of your punch board here. And according to our little chart here, our first measurement's going to be at 3 1/8 inches. And we are going to punch and score. And I'm going to fold that so I can see that well without getting my head over it and into the shot. Line our little tab up there, punch and score. Fold this side over. Line it up again. It should be right at our 3 1/8 mark again. Punch. And score. And then our last section to line up should put our edge right along our little scoring divot there. So punch and score, and then fold those sides all in. And we are done with our scoreboard. Now, this is one reason I like using the envelope. Well, there's two reasons I like using the envelope punch board better than using the plain white pre-made envelopes. Number one is because your sides aren't glued yet, you can fold this in half and you can work out all of the little buckles in your paper that you're going to get from folding it. And so we can glue this nice and flat without any buckles by being able to fold it in half first and working that all out without any buckles in it. The other reason I like it is because I don't have to collage paper over that white edge. So we're going to cut this top flap off because it's going to form our pockets going the other direction. So we've got our fold here that we can put right along our cut line and give that a little cut to take that off. And this is how it is going to go together. Now, one other thing that you can do if you want, depending on the design of your envelope and what you would like, you can do some cutting here and cut this at a little different of an angle, or you could cut off part of that part that's just going up straight, as long as you keep it the width of your envelope to make this pocket a little shorter. And I'll show you the difference here. In this one, it goes all the way up. In this one, I cut it at an angle, so it only goes part of the way up. Preference is totally yours, whichever you like the look of better with your paper. Now, as you see, we've got just the white part there, so we want to cut a section that's going to fit into that part there. I believe this was 6.5 inches. But I'm just going to make a little mark to make this just inside my folds there. And then I need it to come down to where, underneath where these folds are. So it needs to be at least that big. Now, the other thing that you can do, take this fold, and I like to fold it so that it goes just straight across there, just again so we don't have that extra bulk in there. And fold it that way and then fold it back, and it'll be inside and out of the way when you put this part on. Okay, so let's cut the part that's going to go inside there. Yep, right about 6.5 inches. And we've got a few little leftovers there, plus our bigger piece there, and we could use that to decorate and embellish further if we like. So again, this part is going to be easier to do now, to put this in here while you can open this page completely up. You can do it with a regular envelope that's already glued and stuff there, but it's just a lot easier to put it on here this way. So let's add glue to the back side of this piece. Right up to the top and in between our two fold lines. Fold it over. There we go. We'll put a little bit of glue under our triangle flap here. And then we want to do one more thing before we glue the envelope itself together, and that is ink up our edges if we're going to do that. It's much easier to ink these little side parts here before we glue everything together. Now, if you forget, it can be done. It's just easier to do it first. Now the other edges will be covered up by our other little flap that we're going to add, so we don't have to do them right this minute, except for this one here will be a little bit easier, and it's not going to be seen too much, but it's just a little easier to do right now. So next thing we want to do is glue the sides of our envelope together. And we're just going to go from this point down and across that little edge and up this little edge and up to where that triangle starts. You want to keep your glue right on the edge and just a thin bead of it because you don't want to glue any of your pockets shut. And at this point, I like to fold my envelope just so I can make sure that I'm not getting any buckling when I fold that over. Okay, next we're going to do our flap that folds our front pockets. Again, we want to ink this up before we put it on, at least this angled edge here on both sides. Okay, and then now we can glue this part onto the front on the bottom of our envelope. And for this, you're just going to glue along the very bottom a nice thin bead, and you can go up those little short sides to create an edge to your pocket. And put that on right on your fold and right along the bottom. And press that in nice and firm so it attaches well. The last thing we need to do is finish inking the rest of our edges on our envelope pockets. That is going around the top and the sides and the bottom and the middle if you haven't done that yet on both sides of your envelope. We really don't need to worry about this side because this is going to be glued into our journal, so we're not going to see those edges. So there we have it, our basic 6-pocket wraparound envelope is done. And the way it goes into our journal is like this. You'll find a page, and it is going to wrap around the page on that fold. You're going to put glue along the bottom and up the side and glue that onto this side of the page, and you're going to put glue along the bottom and up this side and glue it down to this side of the page, and that's going to create the pockets for us. So you will have a front pocket, a middle pocket, and a back pocket on both sides of your paper. As you can see with mine, I used a smaller tag in that front pocket so that it wouldn't cover up everything else. Just used a little one, and a medium-sized tag in that middle pocket or journal card, whichever you prefer, and then a larger tag that would stick out in that back pocket there. Your fronts can be decorated any way that you please with either purchased ephemera or handmade that you do yourself. Like I said, tags and journals, journal cards, whatever you prefer in your pockets to make it just how you want it to be. So there we have it. Let's see if you can see all of those. Our 6-pocket wraparound envelope. What do you think? Did you like this simple project? Are you gonna go make some? Have you ever made anything like this before? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for joining me on our creative journey today. I hope that you were inspired and that you'll subscribe, like, and comment here and share with their friends, as well as sharing your creations with us. We want to see your take on this and what you've made. The link for that is down in the post too. Now, go make beauty from ashes and be freely whole.